Good afternoon, my dear students. So today class, we are going to discuss about the expression for crippling load when both ends of the columns are fixed. I will write here expression for crippling load. It is nothing but the buckling load also when both the ends of the column are fixed. So for this condition, we will calculate the Euler's formula. So now in this condition, if you take a column, the both ends of the column conditions are fixed. Okay. So now we will consider a column AB. Okay. Now I will consider a column AB. So both ends are fixed like this. So this is the A point and this one is the B. Okay. So now if you see this column, it is the uniform cross sectional area and also the length of the column is L, and let the P is the crippling load at which the column has buckled. So that means we will take the load P here like this at the both state conditions. So due to this crippling load or buckling load P, the column will deflect like this. I will draw like this. Okay, the column will buckle like this. So if you observe in this one, due to this fixed ends, there will be a fixed end movements at the end A and end B. So it is like this M naught. We are denoting with the M naught as a end movements at both the ends. Okay. And also here, if you see when it is acting like this, the fixed end movements acting at A and B, so that the slope at the fixed end becomes 0. Okay, the slope should be 0. So now consider a section at a distance x from the fixed end A. So now I am considering the section x. Okay. So let the deflection of the column at this section, okay, we denoted with the y. So as both ends of the column are fixed and also column carries a crippling load P, so there will be some fixed end movements also there. Those are M naught. Okay, now let us take M naught equal to fixed end movements at A and B. And also then what about the moment of the section? Then the moment of the section is nothing but M naught minus P into Y. Okay, this is the moment at the section. Why? Because if you observe here in this diagram, at the section it is here M naught plus P into Y. Okay, so here M naught minus P into Y. But actual movement, what is the formula for the movement at the section is EI into d square y by dx square. Okay, now we have two movements are there here are the section and actual movement. So now equate both movements. So equating the two movements here, EI into d square y by dx square equal to m naught minus py. So if you send the py to the left hand side, the formula is like this: d square y by dx square plus py equal to m naught. Now I divide with the EI. So the next step will be d square y by dx square plus p by ei into y equal to m naught by ei. So now I will multiply with this m naught by ei with the p by p. So what happens? M naught by ei into p by p. So I will write in the form of p by ei into m naught by p. So I will write again the equation, the final equation how we got d square y by dx square plus p by ei into y equal to p by ei into m naught by p. So now my dear students, so if you observe here for this equation, same like that in the previous derivations also we calculated the solution. So same like that for this one the solution may be y equal to c1 cos x into square root of p by EI plus C2 sin x into square root of p by EI plus this one m naught by p. So this is the solution for the above differential equation. This one, how we got this equation, I told you previous classes. Now when you take the alpha square value equal to p by EI, so what happens? Alpha equal to square root of p by EI. So generally, if you consider into the complete solution, you will get this equation. In the previous class, I already discussed regarding this one. Now, when we have constants, if you observe here, we got the constant C1 and also C2. We have two constants are there, and their values are obtained from the boundary condition. Now we have to take the boundary conditions of the column. So the boundary conditions are the first condition at point A, x equal to 0 and also y equal to 0. So what happens then? Dy by dx also 0, as a is a fixed end. But if you observe at the point B, what happens? X equal to L, y equal to 0, dy by dx equal to 0. X equal to L, how we will take? See, if you observe this one at point A, this point x equal to 0, y equal to 0, dy by dx equal to 0. But if you take the consider at point B, what happens? The length from bottom to here, the length is L. So x equal to L, but y equal to 0. There is no deflection here due to the fixed end. Okay, even dy by dx also 0. Okay, 1 second. Dy by dx also 0. So now by using or substitute these values as the first condition and the second condition, this solution, okay, whatever we got the equation, maybe let us take it, equation is 1. If you substitute in this equation, we will get the C1 and the C2 values. So now we will take the first condition. The first boundary condition is nothing but x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. If I substitute in that equation, it is like this. Okay, so what happens? C2 is 0 here, then C1 equal to minus m naught by p. You see, x equal to 0, y equal to 0. Simply I substitute here. So x equal to 0, then y equal to 0. So it is 0, and this one also. Then cos 0 is nothing but 1. Sin 0 is 0. Then m naught by p is like this only. Okay, same like that. The second condition. You see, if you observe here, before substituting in the second condition, there is a dy by dx. Okay, so for this case, we have to differentiate this equation. Okay, for this equation, write the differentiating the equation. How it happens? Dy by dx equal to c1 into minus 1 sin x into square root of p by ei, again square root of p by ei, plus c2 into cos x into square root of p by ei into square root of p by ei, plus the constant is a 0. So this is the differential equation. So here if you observe here, minus c1 sin x square root of p by ei multiply by square root of p by ei plus c2 cos x into square root of p by ei multiply by square root of p by ei. So if you consider this one, now we will substitute in this equation dy by dx. So here dy by dx equal to 0 and x equal to 0. Now substitute the x equal to 0, the boundary condition, and also dy by dx equal to 0. These two boundary conditions substitute into this condition. What happens? 0 equal to minus c1 into sin 0 is nothing. When x equal to 0, it is a sin 0. So sin 0 is 0 plus c2 into cos 0 is nothing but 1. c2 into 1 multiply with the square root of p by ei. Okay, I will write here again. 0 equal to minus c1 0 plus c2 into 1 into square root of p by ei. So what happens then? it should be C2 into square root of P by EI. Now, if you see this one from this equation, it is clearly saying that C2 equal to 0 and square root of P by EI equal to 0. But for the given crippling load or buckling load, the P value, the value of square root of Py, it should not be 0. Okay. So then what happens? C2 should be 0. So now the C1 value we calculated, that is minus m naught by P. Now C2 value is 0. Now we will substitute in the equation 1. So what is the equation? If you observe the equation 1, so we will get the like this: y equal to minus m naught by P cos x square root P by EI plus C2 is 0. So then it is 0, then m naught by T. So finally we got minus m naught by P into cos x square root of P by EI plus m naught by P. So we have to substitute this C1 and C2 in the equation 1. Equation 1 I already told you is this one. So this is the equation 1. So please substitute into this equation 1, like C1 and C2. C1 is nothing but minus m naught by P and C2 is nothing but 0. Okay. Now if you observe here, after calculation of this one, the next step should be, at the end of the B of the column, the x equal to L and y equal to 0. Now substitute these values in the above equation. Whatever we got the previous one, the equation, this one. So in y equal to minus m naught by this equation. So substitute these values. The equation is like this. I will write again for your better understanding level: cos x into square root of P by EA plus m naught by P. Now we will substitute x equal to L and y equal to 0. What happens? 0 equal to minus m naught by P cos L into square root of P by EA plus m naught by P. If you observe this one, what happens? So then m naught by P equal to what happens? If you send this one to the left hand side, that is m naught by P into cos L into square root of P by EI. So from this equation, m naught by P and m naught by P will be cancelled. Okay. And if you observe, sorry, not cancel here. We have to send this one to right hand side. I will tell you now. The next step is cos L into square root of P by EI equal to m naught by P. If you send the m naught by P of left side to the right side, it is a P by m naught. Okay, that is nothing but it is a 1 value. Okay, 1 is nothing but cos 0 or cos 2 pi or cos 4 pi or cos 6 pi. Once if you see this one, now we will take this one L into square root of P by E equal to cos will cancel, there should be a 0. But the minimum value, if you take the practical value, minimum is 2 pi. So what happens? Square root of P by A equal to 2 pi by L. Okay. Square root of P by EI equal to 2 pi by L. Then P by EI equal to 4 pi square by L square. Then P equal to 4 pi square EI by L square. This is the equation whatever we got here of the expression for the Euler's formula when the both ends of the column are fixed. Okay, when both ends of the columns are fixed, the Euler's formula for the p value is 4 pi square A by L square. This is the condition we discussed till now. The next derivation is expression for the crippling load when one end of the column is fixed and other end of the column is hinged support. So this is also like previously whatever we discussed, three theorems, same like that only, but we will discuss in detail again for the derivation. Okay, now the fourth one is expression for crippling load or buckling load, whatever it may be, when one end of the column is fixed and the other end is hinged or pinned. So we have to calculate the Euler's formula and also we have to derive the expression for this case. If you observe here, the expression for the crippling load when one end of the column is fixed and other end of the column is hinged. Now I will draw a column, same like that. We will consider a column. Okay, I will consider here, and it is like this. This is the column, the point A, and also here point B. This one is the pinned support or hinged support. This one is the fixed support. Now the total length of the column, if you observe here, the length of the column is L. Same like that, we will apply the load P at A and B. Okay, the load, this load is nothing but crippling load. Due to this load only, there will be a possibility of buckling like this. You know. Now, if you observe here, the moment will act at the fixed point only, that is the m naught. Okay, but if you observe here, this will try to bring back the slope of deflected column 0 at A. Hence, it will be acting a anti-clockwise. And one more important thing, the fixed end moment m naught at point A, it is balanced. Okay, and also this will be balanced by horizontal reaction. There will be a horizontal reaction possibility is there here. Okay, to balance the moment of this one at fixed point, there will be a possibility of horizontal reaction at the top of the column. Okay, now I will consider a section like this, the x section from the fixed end at a distance of x. Here the deflection is y, same like previous derivations, only we are taking this one. Now I will consider a section x from the end of the A, as earlier I told you. Let us first take, before entering into the expression, let y equal to, y is nothing but deflection of the column or the section, and m naught is nothing but fixed end moment, at a point A, whatever they showed in the diagram, and h is nothing but horizontal reaction at B. Horizontal reaction at B. Okay, and now if I will calculate the moment at the section, what happens? The moment at the section is nothing but moment due to the crippling load at point B. So here you will observe here P is here, H is there. So how the moment will form at this point? Moment due to the crippling load, that is the P, due to P, and also plus moment due to the horizontal reaction H. Due to this both, whatever the moment we calculated, you see how it will happen? P into this deflection, okay, or the section. Same like that, H into the length, whatever it may be, this length only up to here. So what happens? H into this distance is nothing but L minus X. So I will write here the moment or the section is moment due to the crippling load is nothing but minus P into Y plus moment due to the horizontal reaction is H into L minus X. So this is the moment or the section. But the moment or the section, also we know that moment or the at section is EA into d square y by dx square. Okay, now we will equate the both moments, we will get one equation. So I will write here EA into d square y by dx square equal to minus P into y plus H into L minus X. So then what happens if you send this one to the left hand side, EI into d square y by dx square, and please wait for 1 minute. Yeah, sorry, there is a internet interruption. Yeah. So EI into d square y by dx square plus py equal to what happens? So h into L minus x. So then the next step is d square y by dx square. If I divide this one with the EI, that is nothing but p by EI into y equal to h by EI into L minus x. So now h by EI into L minus x, whatever having, the multiply with the p by p. Then we will get like this, p by EI take separately. So you will get like this, h into L minus x by p. So now write the equation clearly. So that is d square y by dx square, okay, plus p by ei into y equal to p by ei into h into L minus x by p. So this is the equation we got. Now for this equation we have to write the solution. So that solution means maybe we will get the constants, 1 and 2 constants. The y equal to, the solution for the differential equation is c1 cos x into square root of p by ei plus c2 sin x into square root of p by ei plus h by p into L minus x. This is the solution. Same like that, whatever we calculated previously. Take alpha square equal to p by ei. Then you will substitute there. You will get the solution like this. This one, let us denoted with the 1, equation 1. So now, once are the fixed, and now we will take the boundary condition are the fixed and a x equal to 0, y equal to 0, even the slope also 0. Okay, but at point the second boundary condition at point B, x equal to L, then y equal to 0. So now substitute these values, the first values are x equal to 0, y equal to 0 in this equation, in the first equation. So what happens if you substitute here, that is c1 into 1 plus c2 into 0 plus h by p into L minus 0. So then it is nothing but c1 plus hl by p. So then c1 what we got, finally minus hl by p. So this is we got from the c1. So now differentiate this equation, when at the point B, there is a dy by dx will be there. When you want to substitute dy by dx, first you have to differentiate this equation. So once if you differentiate this equation with respect to the x, what happens? It should be dy by dx. So I will write here clearly. Once if I differentiate that equation, dy by dx c1 minus 1 into sine x square root of p by ei multiply by square root of p by ei plus c2 into cos x square root of p by ei into square root of p by ei minus h by p. Okay, if I write clearly this one, whatever we got here, if I substitute the x equal to 0 value, same the dy by dx equal to 0. If I substitute in this equation, what happens? The dy by dx equal to 0, then sin x is nothing but 0, so the entire term is a 0, plus c2 into cos x equal to 1 multiply with square root of p by ei minus h by p. So then what happens? C2 equal to h by p into square root of ei by p. So this is what nothing, see, I will write again here. C2 into square root of p by a equal to, we got h by p. Then C2 equal to h by p into square root of ei by p. Same like that, if you send to the right side, the numerator and denominator will be changed. So now the finally we got, the C1 equal to minus h by p, and also C2 value is h by p into square root of ei by p. So these are the constants we got. Now substitute this constant into the equation 1. We have one equation that is, I will show you again. So this is the equation. So now substitute this C1 and C2 in this equation. Okay, now I will substitute here y equal to minus h by p into L into cos x into square root of p by ei plus h by p into square root of ei by p into sine of x into square root of p by ei plus h by p into L minus x. Now, if after getting this one, substitute the point 1, that the end point B, take the boundary condition x equal to L, then y equal to 0. So hence substitute in this equation, in the above equation. So what we got? 0, x y equal to 0. Here y equal to 0. Then what happens? X equal to L. Here also x equal to L. So remaining all same. So I will write here minus h by p into L cos L into square root of p by ei plus h by p into square root of ei by p into sine L into square root of p by ei plus h by p into L minus L. So now again L minus L is nothing but 0. So what happens? Finally we got 0 equal to minus h by p L cos L into square root of p by ei plus h by p into square root of ei by p into sine p into square root of p by ei. This is the L. So anyway, from this equation, if you send to the this one, so this part, if you send to the this side, this maybe the positive sign will happen. So I will write again h by p into square root of ei by p sine L into square root of p by ei equal to h by p into L into cos L into square root of p by ei. So now what happens? So h by p value will get the cancel here. This one and this one. And the remaining part, if you observe here, the sine L into p by ei equal to h by p. Okay. The L and p by h, this one if sent to right hand side, then square root of p by ei. So this one also if you send to the right hand side, multiply with cos L into square root of p by ei. The next step from this, what happens here, this one cancel. So then L into square root of p by ei into cos L into square root of p by ei. Okay. So now I will write again. So here we have this one sine L into square root of p by ei. Now if I send this one, the only this portion to the left hand side, what happens? Sine by cos. So it should be happen to as a tan. So I will write again here sine L into square root of p by ei by cos L into square root of p by ei equal to L into square root of p by ei. Then sine by cos equal to nothing but tan L into square root of p by ei we will get. That is nothing but L root p by ei. This is we got finally. Now the solution for this above equation, for suppose it is a L into square root of p by ei, what happens? The value we will get around 4.5 radians. Okay, so if you squaring both sides for this equation, L into square root of p by ei equal to 4.5. So then what happens? Squaring the both sides, it is nothing but L square into p by ei is equal to 4.5 whole square. That is nothing but 20.25. Okay, 20.25 value is almost it is equal to the 2 pi square value. So then next step is L square into p by a equal to 2 pi square. Then what is next step? P by ea equal to 2 pi square by L square. Then p equal to 2 pi square ea by L square. This is the Euler's formula, whatever we got still now. So these two are most important thing still now we discussed. Okay. Two expressions, and also there is a effective length topic also is there. the effective length of the column. The effective length of the column is nothing but, due to the end conditions, we will get this one, and we will denote it with the effective length is LE. LE is nothing but effective length. L is the actual length. P is the crippling load. Then for suppose, then the crippling load at any type of condition is, the formula is pi square EI by LE square. So it is the, when you have to calculate the crippling load in terms of the effective length. Okay. And also I will write one table and formula. Please look into this one. This is the most important thing. The first one is end conditions. Okay. The both ends are hinged. The second condition is one end is fixed and the other end is free. The third condition is both ends are fixed. The fourth one is fixed and other one is hinged. No, these are the end conditions. The crippling load in terms of actual length and also in terms of effective length, how we will calculate it. So for suppose, yeah, relation between the length and also actual length, effective length and also the actual length. So here LE equal to L, but in this condition LE equal to 2L. In this condition LE equal to L by 2. In this condition LE equal to L by square root 2. We already know the actual length, the crippling load. We calculated these conditions till now by using the derivations. Pi square EA by L square. Here pi square EA by 4L square. Here 4 pi square EA by L square. Here 4 pi square EA by L square. So these are the conditions. We calculated the derivations till now. But how the effective length we will calculate? So in this condition L equal to L. So what happens? The same formula. But here L equal to 2L. So what happens? Pi square EA by 4 into 4 again. So L equal to 2L square. So 4L square, what happens? It will happen to the L square. So same like that, we have to substitute in the L value. So L equal to what happens? LE by 2 like that. So again, calculate, substitute the small L value with respect to the LE. So if you substitute here pi square EA by LE square. Again here pi square EA by LE square. So like this you have to calculate, for suppose in this condition we will take, for suppose one condition we will take pi square EA by 4L square. LE is nothing but 2L. So L is nothing but LE by 2. So substitute here pi square EA by 4 into LE square by 4. So 4 cancel, we will get pi square EA by LE square. So like this we have to calculate, and all the effective length formulas also here.